In Algonquin folklore, there's a mythical flesh-eating creature who possesses human beings and makes them become monstrous. This is the Wendigo. It is said to have devoured the Native Americans who dared to go into the northern forests of the Atlantic coast and Great Lakes regions. Oh, and Canada. No one's ever seen a Wendigo. They say only its victims knows what it looks like, but the myth describes it as a tall, bony, humanoid-looking creature with long limbs, thin, elongated, claw-like fingers, a terrifying face, and very sharp teeth. The Wendigo is as tall as a person, but according to legend, its height grows in proportion to the size of the victims it devours. In some versions, it has elk horns, but in all versions, the skin is as hard as a shield, and only fire can make them retreat. Now, pop culture has portrayed them to be more beast like, almost like a bear with horns or a really hairy elk. Yeah, that's wrong. It's supposed to look more like this. Sexy. Now, among the stories that include references to the Wendigo, a very famous one survives, which dates back to 1878. It tells the story of a native man who was expelled from the Cree tribe and had to take refuge in the forest with his family. Sometime later, this man arrived in a nearby town, emaciated and desperate. His family had apparently died of starvation, but the townfolk didn't believe him. So finally, the man had to lead them back to the cabin where he had been living with his family. There they found a macabre spectacle. The remains of his wife and children were scattered on the ground, and the bodies had been partially eaten. The man was condemned to death by hanging, but before he died, he defended himself. He claimed that the Wendigo had possessed him, forcing him to unalive his entire family and subsequently eat them. Yeah, they didn't buy it. They hung him. And so began the myth of the Wendigo. If you want to hear more about this wretched, disgusting creature, listen to the Wendigo episode on our podcast. You're welcome.